Hi, welcome to OKX by OKC Podcast. And here we talk about DeFi, GameFi, Metaverse, crypto, and everything else related to them. This is your host, James. Hello everyone, welcome to OKX by OKC Podcast. And today I have a very good project and I have two guests from that project. One is Aram Alipur and another one is Kasra. They both are the co-founders of Flair, and Flair is trying to increase workflow of developers by saving the months of development work for crypto games and NFT projects. Hi, Adam. Hi, Kasra. Nice to have you here on our podcast.
Hello, it's really good to be here.
Good to be here.
So, let's start with a general introduction of yourselves and Flair to our listeners.
Yeah, of course. So me and Kasra go way back to the high school times, around like 15 or so years ago. We always wanted to do something kind of important for the world. We wanted to build, and kind of the journey starts really back in history. So over time, we kind of worked in a couple of products. We had startups, and like some of them got to product market fit, some of them failed, and we learned a lot throughout our kind of life of doing software products and startups. And about like 2.5 years ago, we got kind of serious about the blockchain, because it was obvious to us that it's going to be here to stay. It's going to change a lot of aspects of people's lives. It's going to take time, but it will eventually happen. All the things in DeFi, in DAOs, and how people organize, and everything in between. One of the most important or interesting kind of spaces for us was NFTs as a technology first, that basically the digital asset ownership of a non-fungible asset, whatever it can be like a gaming asset, or it can be a home deed, or anything else. And we thought that has a huge opportunity, and we were really interested in it. So when we looked at the market, we saw, okay, there are a lot of kind of projects that are trying to do some sort of, let's say, entertainment. The PFP projects, like Bored Ape Clubs and Doodles, and kind of these projects. And we were like, okay, let's just start bringing some sort of value or help people in this space, in the NFT space, with the current kind of state. And the original idea of Flair was a very focused product of providing a return functionality for NFT sales. So you mint your NFT, and then you as a buyer have the ability to return the NFT for a certain period of time. And back then we thought that is going to help a lot with projects that sometimes do rug pulls, and people cannot trust the project owners. And we were like, okay, this might help. This ability of minting with return functionality is going to help. So we started there. We helped a few projects do that. And slowly from there, we realized that there is a big market opportunity, that we can help a lot of projects with ready-made tools. A lot of projects need smart contracts, like fundraising, staking, token staking, NFT staking, a lot of different building blocks. And we thought, okay, we can have a platform that builds them once and really nicely with all the features, and provides it to people, provides it to developers, so they don't need to spend like 3 months developing an NFT sale. We give them tools, they do it in like 1 or 2 days. And about like, I think 4 months ago, which feels like a year ago, we raised funds for our kind of, let's say, pre-seed round. And really good investors, strategic investors. We have MetaCircle, we have Altitude, we have a lot of angel investors as well, that kind of are helping us to realize this idea of basically a platform for Web3, that if you want to build a business in Web3, we want to give you the tools for it. And yeah, like that's a high level kind of story of what happened. Definitely a lot of details and nuances there, but that's a high level summary.
Yeah, well, you have actually made a lot of points that I want to actually talk about. But before we dig deeper into Flair and how this platform works, I want to touch on the first point that you mentioned, that is a return functionality. Could you talk more about it? Because as you said, like with the rug pulls and scams that's going on, like it's really important to actually kind of save the investors from such rug pulls, because in the end investors are the people that are actually trusting the developers, trusting the team, and they are minting by paying zero point 0.5 or zero point 0.2 zero point 1 is so that rug pulls, they actually hurt the overall Web3 ecosystem. There will be less trust from the people that are just getting into the NFTs and into the ecosystem and trying to understand what really is going on. So, could you give more explanation on how the return functionality works?
Yeah, of course. So, like this problem of rug pulls has a lot of different angles, and basically the technicality of being able to return the NFT is one of them. Making sure the team is docs and they have an actual plan is another one. Keeping them accountable over time is another one. There are really different aspects. So the one that we wanted to help with, basically was just like ICOs, where in 2017, it was like a crazy time. Everybody was raising funds. Nobody would keep the projects accountable, just give them money, and they have the money in a liquidity pool somewhere, and they can just get that liquidity, basically rug pull everyone, or basically just take the money and just run away without any on-chain accountability, let's say. And over time, after like 2 3 years, people started demanding projects. Hey, we need liquidity locking, we need token locking and vesting for the team members. And what happened was, now, like after 2 3 years, now ICOs were more kind of controlled, they were more accountable, and they couldn't technically, physically, they couldn't get the money and run away. They had to wait, they had to build. And we thought that this is going to happen the same in NFTs. It's going to be the same. Like in the early days of NFTs, nobody was thinking, nobody was kind of asking projects for accountability. They were just giving them money, and the money was in the team's wallet from day one. And they expected the team to be a good guy, a good person, and do their best. But that's usually not how incentives work. It's really hard for people to, when you have $70 million, in the case of Pixelmon, you raise $70 million. Not even some of the Series A's are like that, and as easy as that. You get $70 million, it's in your pocket. It's so tempting for the project to just say, hey, we failed, we couldn't do it, or just take the money and run away. And we think this is going to change. So we were kind of there providing those tools to projects that, in a kind of simple terms, when you mint the NFT, you pay, let's say $100. And what happens is, let's say $10 or $15 will be immediately released to the project owner, so that they have some sort of liquidity, like 50%, 15% liquidity to start building, right? They want to build episodes of a, I don't know, TV show as NFTs, or they want to build a game, or they want to do something. They can start with that 15% of the money, and as they go, let's say over 3 months, the rest of the money is slowly released on a daily basis. And they deliver, I don't know, episode 1, they deliver the first piece, the second piece, and as they go, and the rest of the money is released. Now you, as an NFT holder, have the ability to say that, hey, I like, after like 1 month, 2 months, I'm not hearing any communication, or something is not working with the projects, and I want to take my money back. What you will do is return the NFT and then get the remainder of your money back. So this is not the perfect ideal solution, but this is at least a way. If a project wants to do a rug pull, they are not going to give you a return functionality. So even if the return functionality is for 3 months, 5 months, it is still better than nothing. But that was the kind of the first attempt that we had at this. I can say there were a couple of projects who used this functionality and they were kind of successful in their launch, but not every project was going to go for this. Like projects didn't want to provide return functionality. Like at least let's say 8 out of 10 didn't want to do that because it was so easy for people to launch NFTs and people to pay them. So that's why we had to kind of expand our offerings on Flair to offer even other types of fundraising until the market matures and people will start demanding NFT projects for a return functionality. And if they do, then we have the tools for them. That's kind of what happened there.
The example of Pixelmon is absolutely on point, because with that amount of funds being raised, and then with the after the NFTs were revealed, everyone was really disappointed at what the project promised and what they delivered. So in case of return functionality, it actually sounds really, really cool because, well, first of all, as you said, there is at least a certain percentage of guarantee that you are going to get some part of your money back if the project does not deliver what they promised to deliver. That's number one. But at the same time, we need to look at this from a different angle where, developers or the projects, they have a roadmap and they say, okay, we are promising A, B, and C. Within the next 6 months, we're going to achieve point A, point B, and point C. But if, let's say, due to the market condition or due to some unforeseen situations, if the projects cannot deliver all points, but can deliver only point A, the community is not going to be very happy. They are not going to be super satisfied, right? So that means that there will be at least 10% or 20% of the people who are not satisfied with that, and they want to use the return functionality and they want to return their NFTs and get their money back, which means the project is right now, stuck with 20% of the NFTs that they have, sent out to the public. And what happens after that? Like, what's your opinion on that?
Yeah, this is basically the accountability aspect, right? Like if you are promising something and you're not delivering, there should be some sort of like price that someone has to pay. And if the projects are the ones who are promising and not delivering, then the project owners are the ones who should be responsible or accountable for this situation. And like this is definitely something that needs to be experimented with and see like all the different formats of doing it. But I can tell you that a similar kind of dynamic is still happening in the token case. For example, let's say Chainlink raises funds and they have all the funds in basically the liquidity pool. And if people are not happy with how Chainlink is working, they're going to sell their Chainlink. And what happens is the price goes down, and effectively, the team funds are going to be, lower than what they kind of had access to. So it's a very similar thing that happens in the tokens kind of protocols, but in the NFTs. But definitely, as you said, this is something that needs to be experimented with. For example, we had this kind of early release or immediate release that you say, hey, I want at least 20% of this $70 million as the immediate release. And then with that 20% of $70 million, you should be able to, deliver the first milestone. And then if you do that, then people are going to keep kind of trusting you. But yeah, as I mentioned, that was kind of the early product that we worked on. And soon we realize at least the market is not fully ready for this, exactly for the things that you mentioned. The project owners don't feel secure about, being more accountable like this, that the basically the reverse rug pull, now the communities has the chance to rug pull the project, which is not ideal for the project owners. So that's why we kind of expanded our products to other aspects. Like we provided the staking, we provided other tools until the market is ready for let's say more accountability tools. But what we think is like in the next 5 years, accountability, on-chain accountability is going to come and be really important. Like on-chain, you cannot rug pull the project. But how exactly it's going to work? Yeah, we will basically experiment and see what's the best way.
I just wanted to add something to what Aram said. I think for every technology, basically, there are three aspects that needs to evolve, and we are seeing that with blockchain and NFTs every day. It is, well, the software or the smart contracts part, which kind of Flair was providing value in that sense. And I guess some of the examples that we have explored, there's always, smarter ways of handling it, but you kind of shouldn't sacrifice the decentralization part. So we don't want regulators basically to come in and kind of regulate this. We want things like these rules to be embedded into smart contracts and code, because that's what we're being promised by blockchain. But yet the technology and software part is going to evolve basically every day, and we're going to improve it. But the other two aspects that also need to keep up are the cultural aspects and the regulator or political aspects. So regulators need to kind of put defined rules for like what are these. A lot of people are confused right now about what NFTs are. Projects are confused, investors are confused, and also the cultural aspect. I think a lot of people are treating NFTs as it's like a casino basically. There's a lot of noise, there's a lot of speculation, and the collectors actually don't know what they're getting into. The projects also don't know what they're getting into. But I think the more we move forward to treating NFTs as an entertainment block, we have like the DeFi as the money Legos and blocks. We have NFTs as entertainment block. We have DAOs as organizational blocks. If we kind of put all of these together, then we're just going to create massive products. And that to me is the exciting part. And I hope the technology part, the cultural part, and the regulator and political part all just come together and make something good happen.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, it is actually very good that Flair is one of the first projects that is, providing such tools to the developers, to the projects that you guys think will be the future of especially NFT space. Because being a first mover, it actually really advantages in terms of being successful and being trustworthy at the same time, having the experience of such tools and such experiences. What else can developers utilize by using the tools of Flair?
So like we have a big list of ideas that we think is going to change how people build stuff in the blockchain on the software stack. But by software stack, we mean, so we have this infrastructure layer, right, which is Ethereum, OKC, Celestia, all these kind of infrastructure tools that provides it looks like a hardware part, the networking part, the hardware part, where things move on top of it. It doesn't have any real life application yet. It's just the infrastructure layer. And then we have these software or application layer on top of it, which you can say the smart contracts, the DeFi protocols, all those things. So we are in the software stack. And what we are trying to do is look for opportunities where people are repeating, developers are repeating something. For example, tokens. Like a lot of projects are creating ERC20 tokens, giving these tokens to their communities, airdropping, doing staking, all these functionalities. So that's one kind of area that we are helping. Another area is basically streams of tokens. For example, you have a NFT collection is generating revenue on primary sale or secondary sale, and then you want to distribute this income or distribute this value stream towards your stakeholders, maybe 10% to yourself, I don't know, 10% to one of your investors, 20% to your community. And then when you want to distribute it to your community has, let's say, I don't know, 5,000 NFTs, and you want to distribute 20% of your income to those 5,000 NFTs. And that's like a composable, let's say, stream of value. This is another area that we are helping. We call it streams, where we help tokens to move around to different people's wallets. And then we have another aspect which is more useful for metaverse projects and crypto games, which is a set of APIs, NFT APIs, transaction APIs, which means projects can scale their games, onboard the users without, for example, forcing them to have a wallet for now. They can give them a easy onboarding experience to their gamers. They start playing the game. For now, their assets are held in a kind of custodial wallet that is owned by the company, not by Flair. And over time, the user can decide to be, self-custody those assets and become, let's say, sovereign and don't rely on the company or on Flair. We will give them basically the tools for onboarding, this onboarding aspect. So these are the different areas that we are kind of tackling. There are a lot of different things that hopefully, if they become more mature and we start building MVPs, we can kind of share. But yeah, at this point, these are the areas that we are actively working with crypto games, bringing customers, testing our product, developing it, and this is what I can share for now. Yeah.
And just one thing to add, I think crypto games, especially for crypto games, their time should be spent on creating a really fun to play game. Just focus on that, focus on the tokenomics of it, focus on the actual gameplay. And what we're trying to do is to save them a lot of time, all the things that they need to build to either they need to hire a blockchain developer, or they need to build it themselves, or they need to kind of, none of them are actually the core of what they're trying to do. So all the crypto games that we have worked with so far, they're really happy basically to delegate this part of the process to a platform like Flair, which gives them all these tools, but also in a decentralized way, which means that all the contracts, everything that we're providing to them, they are in full ownership of that. So if even Flair is out of the picture, then they have all their assets, which is kind of staying true to the ethos of Web3 and blockchain. So that's the thing that we're focusing on, especially for crypto games and metaverse projects.
This is actually very cool because, well, unfortunately, teams, they spend too much time to develop and it takes too long. And sometimes the investors, people who are investing in this project, they kind of lose patience and they move on. And I think this is one of the reasons why Web3 games, or at least GameFis, are not as popular as traditional games. Because, in traditional games, of course, you wait for a certain period of time, let's say a year or two. But once the game is ready, you understand that, you start playing this game and you enjoy it, and it's much more entertaining for people and much more trustworthy compared to GameFis, games in Web3, where the first phase is delivered by the project team, and then the investors, the people, they invest money in that, and then they again wait for indefinite period of time for the next development to occur. And I think what Flair is doing in that regard, where they, like you guys, are trying to save the time and the effort of the developers by offering such tools, where you make it a lot easier for them and you save their time, but at the same time you help them to come up with new ideas and put them in real life and make it possible for the investors and for the developers. Regarding GameFi's, another thing that I wanted to ask from you guys was what can be done in order to make games in Web3 more mainstream, in order to attract more people that are interested in games in Web2 world.
Yeah, this is a really important question. I mean, we are not like a fully expert into the most correct answer, but from what we are hearing from people pretty active in the gaming, crypto gaming, and also traditional gaming, there are a lot of aspects needs to work together to make it happen. For example, onboarding is the I think is the first one or the most important one. Because if I want to try something and I'm not fully sure if I want it, if it takes me this much money and this much time, let's say I need to pay $100 to top up my wallet for the first time, and I need to install the wallet and learn about it. Maybe it takes 1 or 2 days. Unless I'm driven by greed or something that I want to make money out of this, unless I'm like that, I'm not going to do it. If I just want to have fun, as you said, traditional games, I make a decision and probably in 5 minutes I can have the experience. If I have the device, I can in 5 minutes have the experience of gaming. But in a crypto game, from the moment I decide I want to try a crypto game until I hit my first dopamine hit of, yeah, this is fun, it takes probably like 2 days and a lot of hurdles. Onboarding. So onboarding, I think is the most important one, which is about the logistics of it. And then we have other aspects, which is let's say like how people think about crypto games. Like the kind of the societal aspect of it, that people are like, okay, if in a crypto game I'm fighting for money and people are trying to make money, wouldn't that become basically work? Wouldn't that become not fun? Because the game will be full of mercenaries, people who are trying to make money and extract value from the game, and then I'm there basically like an exit liquidity kind of person for this other person who is trying to make money. And this goes back to the token economics of the game. When you're thinking about how do I want to make it a fun game and rewarding using crypto, this is where the magic happens. And actually there are people who they're expert at this. They call themselves token economic designers or something like that. So this second aspect of how can we make it in a way that I'm enjoying the game, and the crypto aspect of it or the ownership aspect of it is not about making money, is either about having fun or creating value for others. For example, in this aspect, I think it's Sandbox, if I'm not mistaken, that they're going towards a model where you have two types of people in that metaverse. One type is there to have fun, and they are happy to pay for the fun. I'm gonna pay to join this virtual concert. I'm gonna pay to own this, I don't know, this special vehicle or car that I can ride in this game, or I'm happy to pay to go into this specific land or own this specific land. So I'm happy to pay to have fun. And then there's another group. That group are creators and builders, where they create content, create gaming, metaverse gaming experiences, and they are actually professional builders, professional creators. They are not mercenaries. They are not money makers like DJs. They are not DJs. They are not looking for making money. They're basically creators. They have a talent. They know how to create fun experiences in Sandbox, for example, or they know 3D. They can build assets in 3D, and those people create content so that the people who want fun, they will pay for them. And that's a kind of a sustainable economy, just like a real world economy. Some people are creators, some people are consumers, builders and consumers. So this is one model that could help, but I mean, this is definitely evolving and a lot of details. But the second aspect of it shouldn't become like work. First is onboarding. The second one is it shouldn't become like work. It shouldn't become about making money in the metaverse. It will help. And the third part is the right talent. So right now, biggest portion of people in crypto gaming are crypto native people who are, let's say, were there in the blockchain space from the beginning, but they are not game developers. They are not game designers first. And we need to have more game designers, actually people who write stories, create animations, create gaming experiences. We need more of those people in this space. And at least from what we are hearing is that right now 65% of the games are under development in crypto games, and which means after the so many projects that were funded in 2020 and 2021, they started building, and it usually takes 3 years, 2 years, to have a relatively good game at least. So they're working on it, and the idea is probably in the next 1 or 2 years, we will have games that are built by expert game designers, and then it has, crypto flares, it has some sort of crypto aspects to it. So yeah, this third part, which is about the talent, the game developer talent, game designer talent, is another thing. So I think these three together at least will help, onboarding, a correct token economic, and the actual expert game designers.
Yeah, your ideas are perfect. They perfectly make sense. So one of the reasons why like GameFi projects are not onboarding as many users as in traditional games is that we have this term earn. It's like play to earn, move to earn, blah, blah to earn. And I think that is actually, cutting off the fun part. As you mentioned, like people are not actually having fun, but they're actually trying to earn money, which brings you to the idea where you said, it feels like work, doesn't feel like entertainment. Unfortunately, that is the case, and that is why probably most gamers in traditional games, they are not willing to onboard to Web3 games, because you don't feel the entertainment anymore. You feel like you need to earn money by playing the game. And as you said, like you may become an exit liquidity for others who are actually, better than you. And unfortunately, that is the case with the user onboarding. And another thing that you mentioned about tokenomics is it does actually make sense. Like not only the users of GameFi projects are trying to make money, but at the same time, projects are trying to make money as well, and they are trying to apply such tokenomics where they are squeezing every single penny from the users, and at the same time making it feel like the users are taking advantage of the game. And I think by tackling these problems, it would be a lot easier for GameFi projects to become more mainstream and more popular and be used by the masses. Another thing that you mentioned that I want to really talk about is onboarding talents. Of course, we need more builders, we need more creators. And as we are onboarding more creators, more builders, what do we need? We need the tools. And Flair, as you guys are offering such services, one step ahead from others, it really makes it easier for developers to actually use the tools and focus on creating instead of, worrying about how to do what and all that stuff, which makes it a lot easier for them to actually create something that is really, really cool. And on the side notes, you guys have recently deployed on our chain, OKX Chain. So just wanted to ask what your vision or what your mission is by integrating on an OKX Chain.
Yeah, of course. So our goal is to, as you mentioned, help game developers not worry about anything that doesn't have to do with gaming. They shouldn't be fighting with the blockchain. They shouldn't be fighting with the gas fees and all those things. So when we found OKC Chain, we realized that OKC is trying to focus on the metaverse. Like, that's the first and most important aspect, because the future is going to be multi-chain. We're going to have a lot of them. And it's all about adoption, and secondly, about what sort of technology they're using, and the trade-offs in the decentralization that they're making. And from our understanding, OKC, which is focused on the metaverse, focused on the Asian market, and trying to be, for example, EVM compatible, and focus on the problems that the games have, or the metaverse projects have. For example, is the gas fees. That for us is all really good signals that we need to have it. We need to have it in the platform. And it was really good experience, actually, because since it's EVM compatible, and I think it's fully kind of equal to EVM, at least from our experience, that it took us, like, I think 1 day, 2 days to integrate it, test the whole thing, and basically get a bunch of OK tokens, and deploy the first NFT collection on OKC, and everything went really smoothly. So really thanks to the developers of the chain, it's really good experience. And it totally makes sense for a metaverse game that wants to have low gas fees and wants to have all the existing tools work out of the box. This is, in my opinion, is really important. This is onboarding aspect. We have other chains that we try to integrate to, and they are not EVM compatible, and that makes it super hard and sometimes even impossible. Like Solana, it's impossible completely for us to integrate to Solana directly. But OKC is like, okay, I don't want to reinvent the language. I don't want to reinvent the interfaces. I just want to focus on the metaverse logistics, metaverse needs. And that's why we are really happy with this kind of integration. And we really like to see projects giving it a try, playing around with it, and we are definitely there to support. In general, we were really happy with the whole experience we had with OKC so far.
And it's not only like the technology aspect of it, because like OKC has a really strong community of gamers, DeFi projects also. When everybody's kind of in the same community and has the same values, and it's really interesting for projects to tap into the OKC chain and take advantage of the, as Aram mentioned, low gas fees, and through partnerships like Flair, they can like easily create their NFT collection, or like in-game minting assets, for example, via Flair in like few hours. Then as we discussed, they can focus on building a really killer game rather than anything else. So that to me is really interesting.
Awesome. Yeah, we're actually very proud of what we have done so far and what we're trying to achieve. And since we are trying to focus on the whole metaverse and GameFi, it is really important to actually, make it a lot easier for developers to integrate on our chain and, use it as it is like 1, 2, 3, as easy as a pie, because that way we can actually develop the ecosystem and at the same time make it really create value for the developers that are coming on board. And we're actually very happy that we have such good projects like yours that are coming on our chain and offering such services and utilities to other projects, and making it easy for other developers to actually build. On the other note, I wanted to ask about, well, the future of Flair. So let's say in the next 6 months or in the next 1 year, what can we expect from Flair?
So with our aspiration, we want to do really big and important stuff, but it all depends on the actual what happens on a daily basis. Everything is moving so fast, both in the space in general and also for Flair. What our kind of vision or our ideal is kind of was the same from the beginning. If you want to do a business in Web3, we want to give you the tools that saves you time, whatever that is. If you want to launch an NFT collection, you want to have a crypto game, you want to even have a DeFi project, and you have aspects of your ERC20 staking, you have some repeated aspects. We want to help in those aspects. We are thinking of adopting some of the let's say newest standards and EIPs in the Ethereum kind of world, where we think is going to help developers to build serious big projects. For example, one of them is a Diamonds EIP, which basically helps you to build a dApp that can be as big as you want. It can grow unlimited, because in the normal current blockchain dApps or smart contracts, you're limited. Your smart contract size cannot be more than 24 kilobytes, and you're basically limited by some of these things. And if we want real serious big projects to adopt blockchain, you need to give them the right tools. And we think that that is going to be really important. And we try to focus on that, which means, if you want to build a game and you use this technology, I don't know, in 1 month, 2 months, you want to add another thing to it. You want to upgrade some aspect of it. All these things, upgradability and changing and growing your smart contract is a pain right now. And we think we can help there in Flair. So hopefully in 1 year, we have a full toolbox for at least the crypto games. That we definitely want to help other types of projects, but the focus mainly right now is on the Metaverse and crypto games. If you want to do a Metaverse project, the best tool on the market for you it should be Flair. The best platform should be Flair. That's our kind of aspiration. Let's see, how far we can go.
Was the right talent that you guys have, and was that ambition, was that drive? I'm sure it's not gonna take 1 year. Probably 8 months or tops 9 months, and I'm sure that after that time we'll be able to speak again and talk about all that success that you have had, and celebrate it together. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And since you guys are focusing more on crypto games and NFTs, I just wanted to get your idea about the future of those. What do you think is going to happen in terms of GameFis and in terms of NFTs? Well, one thing that you mentioned that I agree 1000% is that everything is moving really, really fast, and it's impossible to even predict what's going to happen tomorrow. I mean, just look at what happened in the last 2 or 3 days with Ethereum and Vitalik and all that stuff. I mean, it's crazy, this Web3 world. I mean, so, but from your perspective, what do you think? What can we expect?
Yeah, I think the most important thing that at least I personally am seeing the trend is that people are tackling the onboarding issue, basically the UX aspect of the blockchain, to make it easier for people to adopt, to try blockchain and try the crypto games. So I think in a short term, next 1 year, 2 year, that is the most important thing that will change. The people will focus on the onboarding. Like examples are, for example, minting NFTs using credit cards, or custodial wallet solutions that help you, onboard and then take your assets off of a centralized place if you want. So these two tools, I think this is one of the focus that people are doing, and that hopefully will solve a lot of these problems that we discussed. And for the gaming, I think the bar is going to rise a lot, especially after the games that are under development kind of they come out and they launch, because there are relatively high quality games that means you cannot create a CryptoKitty anymore and become like most played game on Ethereum. The bar is going to be raised much higher, because greater talents are right now in the crypto games. But like, which one is going to win? Is it going to be any of these AAA studios that comes and grabs the biggest part of the pie, or what will be the gamers' reaction? Like those are the things that we have to see. But yeah, we don't know. Like, for example, the thing that happened with Terra, and the thing that happened can happen with Ethereum like proof of work chain and Ethereum proof of stake chain. Like, what happens if you have two chains? Like, these things will basically change the course of history, or influence the course of history. But in a normal kind of flow that we are going, yeah, I think we're gonna have a bigger, more serious, mature, let's say, space as a whole in both NFTs, Metaverse, and blockchain in general.
Also for me, I think it's not a prediction, but more of a wish that in the coming months, especially in the next bull run, we will see more, serious projects, as Aram mentioned. So I'm really hoping that maybe in the next bull run, we're talking about using NFTs for, for the medical stuff, or for, real estate, or real applications in the world. And it's not only PFPs or communities. I mean, I think we have created a new category, and it's gonna stay. I hope it's the category, but I'm really hoping, for more use cases and better talent from crypto and other games just come in here, build really good stuff, and we can show to the world that, you necessarily don't have to shout out crypto or NFT. Like, you're enjoying a game, or you're enjoying using a product, and behind the scenes, it's using crypto or NFT as a superior technology. But that's how we're going to dominate in the kind of new phase of the world, which is about this decentralized way of doing finance, entertainment. And I think if we can achieve that in the next month or in the next bull run, then as a builder, I would be really happy. So I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, you said it right. I mean, in the end, NFTs or the whole crypto system, it should have a backbone where people should not be really thinking about NFT as a profile picture, or as a type of utility, but even it should be just like what is happening in Web2 world. There's like so much going on with the websites that we're using, like behind the scenes, the hardware and software and all that, and we're not thinking about it anymore, right? Like, in our discussion, we're talking, I'm in one place and you are in another place of the world, and we're talking just like we are in the same room, and it should feel the same way. And I hope, as you said, we're gonna get to that level where we're not saying, or we're not really thinking, hey, this is crypto, but it should be something that's working behind the scenes, and we're just enjoying it as we are enjoying the current technology that we have at the moment. And yeah, Aram, also you mentioned about the future of GameFis, and yeah, it's really important, actually, as we have more serious projects coming out and offering much more than what we are seeing right now. It really will onboard more users and make it a lot easier to actually have fun by playing the game, and at the same time earn. And I hope that when the next bull run comes, or when such the period comes where crypto space is booming, Flair will be there, right there, offering so many tools to the developers, and making them all happy, and at the same time create value for your organization, for your project.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and we really hope as well that the market as a whole just becomes more mature and improves, and everybody gets benefit. So hopefully we can help a bit of making this happen.
I hope so too. Well, we have a lot more to talk about, but unfortunately we are limited in time. So I hope that we're gonna sit down here next year when you guys are, actually doing so many amazing things, and we'll be able to talk more again. But thank you so much, Aram Kasraf. Thanks for coming onto our podcast and talk about Flair and give your thoughts on NFTs and GameFi and all that. And I really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thanks to you. It was really fun talking to you.
Thank you, James.
To learn more about Flair, check out show notes of this episode. Thanks for listening. Stay safe. Peace.